we are hearing from the families of the 7 victims, as well as the dozens more that were injured just today. 69-year-old Eduardo Uvaldo, he was identified. Stephanie Ramos is in Highland Park for us with more on the victims.
A little boy left orphaned after a gunman opened fire at that 4th of July parade.
The boy was saying, "Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy."
Survivors Dana and Gregory Ring telling ABC News about the moment another parade goer handed them 2-year-old Aiden McCarthy. In the chaos of the aftermath, Aiden's mother and father nowhere in sight.
Every time I tried to ask him what his name was, the response he gave to me in return was, "Mama, Dada, come get me soon. Mommy's car come to get me soon."
The couple taking Aiden to a nearby fire station.
When we pulled in, the cops looked like they were getting ready for war. I'll never forget, I pulled up and I said, "This is not our kid. It's not his blood. He's okay. What should we do?" And the cop said, "We can't be babysitters now. Can you take care of him?" We said, "Of course." And then 3 hours later, a detective who had our number called, and then he took the little boy to where families were being reunited, and then he told me he was eventually reunited with his grandparents.
We now know the toddler's parents, Arena and Kevin, seen in this picture from a GoFundMe post, were among those killed. And 5 more families grieving their loved ones. Nicholas Toledo was 78 years old, a grandfather and a father of 8. He was a dual citizen of the U.S. and Mexico. His grandson telling us he spent his last days swimming, fishing, and being among family. And Jackie Sunheim, a wife and a mother. Also killed, 64-year-old Catherine Goldstein and 88-year-old Stephen Strauss. Strauss's family telling the New York Times he still took the train to Chicago every day to his job as a financial advisor.
And Stephanie with us now from Highland Park, as well as ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Katarski here in New York. Stephanie, what do we know about the victims today that we didn't know yesterday?
Well, Deirdre, we've now learned that the 7th victim has been identified. You mentioned his name, Eduardo Uvaldo. And earlier yesterday, we saw a post online posted by his granddaughter where she said that her grandmother, her younger brother, and her grandfather had sustained injuries at the shooting here along the parade route and that they were in the hospital. She did mention that her grandfather was in much more serious condition. He had an injury to his arm and his head, and now we know that he did not make it. It's unclear now how her grandmother and younger brother are doing, but she did say that they had minor injuries. We've also learned more about Arena and Kevin McCarthy. As you heard, the couple that was killed here, the parents to a young child. They both went to college together from Highland Park, and they came back here to raise their son, their 2-year-old little boy, who was found here along the route on the streets wandering without his parents, helped by strangers, and eventually reunited with his grandparents. We also know that there's a GoFundMe page that has now raised more than $2 million to help that child as he grows up without parents. Altogether, we know that 5 of the victims died here at the scene and 2 at the hospital. And as the days go on, we're learning more and more about each individual.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. Aaron, I want to bring you in here because we understand that the suspect was planning another attack and either chose not to go through with it, changed his mind. What happened?
Yeah, this was according to the police, who said that after the initial shooting at the July 4th parade, the suspect seems to have driven around a little bit. He had gone to his mother's house, asked to borrow her car. He was driving around in this 2010 Honda Fit. And at some point, he made it to Madison, Wisconsin, where police said he came upon another July 4th celebration and even contemplated at that time carrying out a second shooting attack. He had another rifle in the car. Remember, he had dropped the first one at the scene in Highland Park, but he had another rifle in the car, 60 rounds of ammunition available to him. This is according to the authorities and statements that Robert Crimo allegedly made to them after he was taken into custody. For some reason, he decided he was not going to carry on with that attack. The authorities don't know why.
Okay, well, perhaps we will learn more today in the next coming hours. And Stephanie, going back to you, we know nearly 40 people injured in this shooting. Do we know the status of those who are still hospitalized?
At last check, we learned that 9 people were still hospitalized, and their ages range from 14 years old to 70 years old. And they've got a number of injuries. Some have injuries to their arm, to their legs. Some have much more serious injuries. But we did speak with a woman yesterday who was at the parade, and she was caught up in the chaos, and she didn't even know that she was injured. She had an injury to her ankle, and she told us that 5 of her family members were also injured. They're all going to be okay, but it just goes to show you that this affected so many people, so many lives. But you said it, at least 40 people wounded in this attack.
Okay, so Stephanie, hold tight. Aaron, we know big court appearance today, right? What is the very latest on this sort of voluntary statement that he made? What does that do even for the case?
Once he was taken into custody, the prosecutor said that Robert Crimo made a number of statements to the police voluntarily, admitting to carrying out the rampage, talking about a considered second attack, and getting into new details about how he went about doing this. He conceded to police, allegedly, that he dressed as a girl, to use his words, and concealed his facial tattoos with makeup so that he wouldn't be recognized. And then in what sounds like a rather chilling confession, prosecutors quoted him saying that he looked down his sights of the rifle and took his aim and opened fire at the parade across the street.
Yeah, that is chilling indeed. Aaron, thank you very much. Aaron Katersky with us there. Stephanie Ramos joining us from Highland Park.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.